Hi, welcome to my knitting podcast. My name is Matilde and I am a knitter from Portugal. So today is my first video ever, so I thought I could start by sharing how I started knitting. So my mom taught me when I was quite young, maybe like 12 years old or maybe younger, probably like 9 years old. And I started knitting just like some little things, ugly things, and like some blankets for my dolls and stuff like that. And I never knitted a full garment or nothing wearable until last year. Well, I crocheted some things that were wearable, so I was more of a crocheter. I can leave some photos of what I crocheted and I loved it. But I was always crocheting something and then coming back after some months. I wasn't like fully committed as I am now with knitting. So yes, last year, after I defended my master thesis, the first thing that I thought that I wanted to do was to knit, because it was always like fiber arts were always a hobby of mine, but never like a religion, you know, like something that you are going to do every day after work or something. But yes, after I defended my master thesis, I just wanted to knit, so I knitted one jacket that I'm going to leave a photo here. Well, it's fully acrylic, and well, it just was great for starting. I just mimicked a cardigan that I had, that I bought on the store, and I mimicked the shapes of the sleeves and the body, and that was what I knitted for like maybe like 3 weeks. Yes, because I was on vacations or unemployment after defending the master thesis, so I had just a lot of time, so I knitted it very fast. And then I discovered the knitting community, and I think that was the main reason why I just started knitting on a daily basis, because it was very motivating. And I don't know why, but I never had crossed with the YouTube and knitting podcasts. But when I did, a year from now, a year ago, it was really motivating. So yes, that is the main reason why I'm starting my knitting podcast, so I can share, be more motivated, and hopefully motivate also you. So that is my introduction. So today I'm going to present 3 real deal finished objects, and I'm also going to share some things that I did just after that cardigan that I'm going to leave a photo that went well. I did the button band with crochet because I didn't know how to knit, and I don't know now, but I will learn because I'm knitting a cardigan. But yes, this was just something that I made, I don't know. And then I saw some reels about color work, and I wanted to try, but then they were just completely different, the sleeves. And now I think I figured out why, because here I didn't knew what the magic loop was. So I really stretched while knitting, and here I knew. So I guess maybe because it was more loose, it was just much bigger. But yes, this is my first top-down sweater and my first color work project. But I don't wear this because, well, it's acrylic. It is not very comfortable because it's not, well, you know, it's not like wool, and it's a bit weird. But it was great to start, and also to start with fully pointed needles, because I used to knit with the hook ones. So yes, it was great. And then I also knitted this like a cable. I'm not even going to show it because I mean it's not nice. But yes, starting with my first finished object, which I'm proud of, is this one. This is the Matilde Sweater by Kika. I really like her videos, and I love the fact that she has a full video explaining the pattern, so that really gave me the confidence to just buy a pattern and do something, because those sweaters, I saw the video from Handmade by Florence, the one from the top-down sweater that she does. I will link it. It's very famous, so you probably know. I saw it and I kind of did it without fully watching the video, honestly, because I had just so much to do with so much to learn that I didn't do the proportions right, and I didn't knew what gauge was. So yes, I just understood more or less and knitted something. So yes, back to what I was saying. I don't remember, but yes, this is the Matilde Sweater, and I really loved the pattern. I think it is great for someone who already knows how to do the basics of knitting, but wants to start knitting sweaters, because it's very fun, it's very engaging, because it's very different. You won't get bored, because in the beginning you are not as a fast knitter as later. So it is quite nice to have always something new beyond. So yes, you start with the back panel, and then you pick up stitches on the shoulders until you knit in the round, and then pick up stitches for the sleeves. I have to say that the first time that I knitted a sleeve, I thought it was quite narrow, but then I just knitted the size above, and then when I was knitting this part here, I just decreased a bit, so it was a bit of a balloon shape. I don't know, I like it, but yes. And that's it from the pattern that I want to say. The yarn, since it was my first pattern, I didn't know how to read, I didn't have much confidence, so the yarn is actually from a sweater that I bought second-hand, and then I frogged. It was 50% cotton, 50% wool. I don't know which type of wool, because it was what was written on the label. And yes, I really like the pattern, but the yarn is not nice, so I would knit it again with nice yarn, because I think it's worth it. I like the sweater. And yes, I was off gauge a bit, and my gauge was, I think, 19 stitches, and I think the pattern calls for more. I will put the stitches that the pattern calls for. So I knitted the size 3, and I usually knit the size 2, and I knitted it with 4mm needles, and that's it. Then after this sweater, I just knitted another pattern from Kika. Again, big motivation for knitting again a pattern of Kika was the full tutorials of each pattern, and I really like it. The yarn that I use now, it was wool. I invested a bit more. I can put here the price of the finished garment, but it wasn't that much because I didn't use much balls. So yes, this is a CaMaRose yarn. I'm not going to try to pronounce it, but here it is, the name. And I held it together with this Rowan alpaca yarn, Alpaca Haze. The two yarns together, I think, are a good combination, and I like the sweater. However, I think this can be a bit itchy. At least that is what I felt. And well, this is 100% wool, and this is 58% alpaca, 22% wool, and 20% polyamide. And that is it. I really like the pattern. It was very time consuming because it's an all over cable sweater, and the knits are tubular knits. So it takes even more time, at least for me, to knit it. So yes, still I knitted this in a month, but it was my only project, and I was knitting like at least 3 hours per day, and this took me a month. But I think it's worth it because it's very classy, and yeah, I like it. I do have to say that the fit, it's not the best, and because you end up having too much material in here because of this triangular. Maybe I'm touching the microphone. Well, but yes, because this is a kind of a triangular shape, then you know, like you just stretch a bit here with your shoulders, and then you end up with a lot of material here. So the pattern suggests to do short rows in the neck, but I think it would be better to do short rows in the yoke. But because, well, I think the problem is here. But it's my experience. Maybe with the recommended yarn it's different, I don't know. But yes, love it. Maybe it's a bit too cropped, but it has been growing with wear, so it will be okay. And I would, if I knitted again this, I would do short rows to shorten this front part of the yoke. Okay, that is it for the finished objects. Now I have my works in progress. So I'm knitting the book club cardigan for... Oh, hi! The book club cardigan for my mother. And it's quite fun. I started on the back panel, and I'm knitting a size L, so it's a 4? Yes, 4. But yes, I did some mistakes. This guy slept in here, so there are a bit of little hairs. But yes, the mistake that I did, I should have done moss stitch here, and I didn't, because when reading the pattern I was a bit biased because of the pearls here near the cables, and maybe after these cables I just thought that it would be pearls. I didn't read it correctly, and I tend to do that sometimes. But yes, so I now have to redo that. That's why this is not on the needles, because I'm going to frog the rib, the stitch that I did here, and then vertically frog it and correct it. And yes, let's hope that it will be fine with time. Now, the other whip that I have is the filled sweater. Quite a lot of stitch markers because I don't trust myself, because as you saw in the book club cardigan, I'm quite I'm an unfocused knitter. I just go with the flow, and then after 1 week I just realized that I was doing a lot of things wrong. So yes, a lot of stitch markers to decrease the probability of being wrong again. But yes, this is a filled sweater. I like it. It's a bit difficult in the sense that you have to pay attention, because until you are finished with the grains, it is not like a mindless knit. And I don't know, I'm thinking about frogging it, because I don't think with this yarn... Oh yes, I didn't talk about the yarn. Okay, sorry, I forgot to talk about the yarn for the book club cardigan. It is the Moto yarn by Wool Dreamers. It is 100% wool, and I really love it. It's the Blanco Natural. I think this is Spanish, so I hope it is right. Sorry, very Portuguese pronunciation. But I really like this yarn. I love the stitch definition. While knitting the moss stitch in the book club cardigan, I was just started dreaming about other patterns in which a good stitch definition is very desirable. So yes, maybe I will knit with this yarn again in the future, because I really like it. And I'm knitting with a 5mm needle. So back to what I was saying before. Sorry for the jumping backwards and front and backwards. The confusion. Sorry for the confusion. I hope to improve in further episodes in the future. So, about the filled cardigan, the filled sweater, that is also a cardigan pattern, but I'm knitting the sweater. I like it, the pattern, but I don't think I have the stitch definition that is needed in order to have a good filled sweater, for the pattern to glow, you know, because I'm knitting with Regia yarn. It is 65% wool, 25% polyamide and 10% cashmere. It is quite soft. I like to knit with it, but I'm really not sure about this particular project, and I might frog it. And I'm dreaming about knitting this in green, because, well, I'm knitting this pattern because I was having lunch with my mother, and there was a lady with a sweater that I could swear that was handmade. So I just went and talked to her and asked her about the sweater, and it was indeed handmade. And I love knitters' interaction, especially because the knitting community in Portugal is really not that strong compared to other countries. And she just told me that it was the filled, which pattern was the filled sweater by CaMaRose, and I just got out the restaurant and bought it. And the sweater that the lady was wearing was with, I will put the color in the image in here somewhere, because I really liked it. So maybe in the future I will knit this, but with that color. And my last whip is a test knit for Sari Nordlund. It is a tee with the lace and then stockinette stitch. I will show you when the pattern is out, because I don't know how much can I show while in a test knit. So I will show you in the future. I am knitting with Rosarios 4 Alfama. It's a Portuguese very known brand, and I was a bit curious to knit with Portuguese yarns since I'm Portuguese, and I really like it. It's 100% linen, so the experience was quite different from wool, but I'm getting the hang of it and I'm really liking the test knit, and I'm like here. I already knitted quite a lot. And that is it. I will leave you with my dream wall. The dream wall is a gathering of yarns and patterns that I liked lately, and I think it will be fun to see how this dream wall evolves in the future and along the year. And that is it. I hope this wasn't too confusing with the jumping back and forward. I wish to improve in the future. And that's all. Thank you for sticking up until the end. I wish you a very happy knitting and have a wonderful day. Bye!